TWC.com. All right, here we go. This is from Tanya. This is the first Christmas after the death of my mother and the end of my marriage. While I am lucky to have good family and friends around me, I am also grieving during this season. I'm just not in a very festive mood right now. Do you have any advice for people like me? Tanya. You know, Doc, I'm telling you, for a lot of people, this time of year is a sad time because they miss loved ones, and this is the case right here, Tanya.
Yeah, we talk about all the time that you think that the holidays have to be festive, but you know, what if you're not? What if you've experienced a personal loss or transition in your life, and then this is not a time of year that, especially this year, that you can get excited about? So, Tanya, that was a very good message, and as John said, we answer every email we answer on the show comes from you, the viewer, and you can do that at KMFT@TWC.com. We'll answer those well into the new year. But let's talk about it. How do you deal with the holidays and cope with loss? Well, I think one thing is to not shut down. And a lot of people, they withdraw. They feel like they've lost their support network. They feel like a failure because, in your case, your marriage has ended. So the natural tendency is to want to shut down. And really, we want to fight against that. And number one, I think most important rule, Tanya, you want to surround yourself with people and things that give you meaning. And perhaps you have family members out there. Perhaps you have friends that have gone through what you've gone through, either losing a loved one or ending a relationship, that you can get support from. I have people really rely on their pets this time of year. They also reach out to things, hobbies, passions that give them interest. Lots of people also find a way by giving back. If you're feeling bad about yourself, volunteering with those less fortunate. So you want to surround yourself with the people and things that give meaning to you. And the second thing is allow yourself to feel that range of emotion. Another mistake people make is they don't grieve. And sometimes, like a loss of a marriage, that's ambiguous loss. That person is probably still there. You don't feel the same way about them. They don't feel the same way about you. But as I was saying earlier, it does seem like some sense of failure. So you don't want to dwell on that, but you want to allow yourself to feel kind of the range of emotions, which includes sadness, but also includes kind of hope for the future. And you should think about those relationships, whether someone is deceased or you ended a relationship, and you think about they were probably not all bad. So you want to take the good things out of that. Or if you can't even focus on that, you want to think of what you learned about yourself. Because we said often when you're thinking about yourself in relationships, if you understand your part of the cycle, what you did, and you don't carry those same deficits into future relationships, then that is really the biggest predictor of how you're going to do in future relationships. If you can take accountability for your part, it's going to make a big difference in future relationships, whether they be romantic or friendships. So I hope you do that, Tanya. I hope you have a supportive network of people and things and can remember, again, the positives that are going on in your life, and also build some new rituals. A lot of times, John, we lose family members, right? And they were such an integral part of our holidays, sure. Or maybe they were the patriarch or the matriarch of the family. So it's never a bad time to start a new ritual that lets you kind of honor that person yet have something for yourself. And marriage and family therapists help families do that all the time. Develop rituals, whether they be mourning rituals or new rituals to celebrate some transition into some new stage of family life.
I'm going to jump on the couch for a second here, Doc, because I don't mean to be like, oh, woe is me, but I do think there's a lot of people experience what I do. My in-laws come in town, my sister-in-law. She's very close with my wife. And every year they do this for 20 years. And you know, I enjoy my nephews, I enjoy my sister-in-law. With that being said, my wife's total focus, because she sees her so little, is on her. So I'm basically alone during the holidays. Now, I've tried to learn to handle it, do stuff, you know, find my little niches here and there. But it's really not a happy time for me. And she says, well, you should understand. I see my sister so very little. I see you all the time. She goes, yeah, I am focused on her. And so I'm trying to go, okay, I'm good with that. But
you can see your brother on the radio every day.
That's right, I do. Exactly right. And that's what she says. She says that. She says, you can see your brother all the time. I see my sister, 3 times a year. She has a point. With that being said, it's kind of lonely for me. Is that too selfish of me to say, give me some time? Is that too much?
No, I think that's really good. And I think what you want to do is kind of go back to our tips in the first part. First of all, you want to understand why that's important to her. That it's not a takeaway when especially if you can only see your family members, they're geographically separate at a certain time of year. So you want to honor that and the bond between sisters, but you also want to go back to that schedule like we were talking about. And you, as long as you and Jill have some time blocked out together, gives you both something to look forward to, and you don't experience her hanging out with her sister as a loss. In fact, it builds anticipation when you see each other. Now, it also helps if you get along with the sister. Well, with a lot of families we've talked about throughout the last year and various kind of callers and emails, What if your significant other has a close relationship, but you do not particularly are fond of that family member? And that is a bad spot. You never want to be pulled between, my wife has an identical twin sister. They never lives in Chicago. They never go more than 6-7 weeks without seeing each other. So if I did not respect that relationship, that would put me in a bad spot. That would put my wife in a bad spot. You don't want to be pulled between multiple people you love. So if you're in the role of John or me, you have to develop an affinity. You have to understand why your significant other values that relationship, and don't do anything to diminish it, but also plan your own thing with your significant other so you don't feel like you're losing out. It's a both and.
Doc, my bet is I bet they have a code word when they've had too much of me. You think they do?
Yeah,
they probably have one.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Like, let me out of here.
That's right.
That guy over there.
That's right.
All right, 571-5263. If you have a question for Dr. Eli, we have another segment on the way. We may not be able to address that